Welcome everyone to week 6 of SmashUp Review. Haibo does data. I am here with my co-host Owen. Owen, how's it going?
It's going great. Another awesome week in the books. And in honor of watching the Manning cast last night, I do have a quarter zip on. So
Nice, nice. I think we're officially a third of the way through the season.
yeah,
It's gone by.
sure
It's gone
has.
by. Anything surprising? Just, I mean, generally, any teams surprise you? Any teams underperforming where you thought they were going to be?
I mean, I'm shocked at the Jaguars, to be honest. I know, there was Travis got hurt yesterday. I don't hurt. Yeah, I just Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. I mean, he is, and they're just having issues there all over the place. I'm surprised to see what they're doing. And again, I know the Vikings didn't play this week, but again did not see that happening. Um, yeah,
I would say the entire NFC North. Um,
Yep.
the Bears, the Packers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that division was the entire division wasn't going to be that great, but
right.
outside the Lions. But yeah, there was it 5-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-2.
Yeah,
Um,
you're talking right now to number 4 on my 5 for 5.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I think the Steelers and the Bengals are flipped from where I thought they would be. I think
Yeah.
Steelers are 4-2 so far, Bengals 2-4, but
I'm not
um,
surprised to see Justin Fields doing well there. I kind of felt in my gut the offseason this was going to be his team. I mean, Justin Fields, again, I know he's had some obvious accuracy issues, but in that system there, I think he's just perfect. Harris went for over 100 for the first time yesterday. I don't know. I like Fields there. I don't know that we see Wilson unless there's an injury the rest of the season.
mhm. Oh, okay. So you think they're going to stick with Fields?
I do. Yeah. I don't think Wilson's a big enough upgrade. I don't know what he does now for that team that Justin's not going to do for him.
Hmm. And then certainly in the NFC East, the Commanders.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone had the Commanders doing as well as they have.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Caleb Williams and the winning record the Bears have, I mean, Jaden would be the story. And I mean, geez, Caleb had what, 4 touchdowns, I think,
Yeah.
on
Hmm.
Sunday morning over in London. I mean, yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I know you always talk about the rookie quarterbacks, so yeah, you
Well,
wanna
perfect. There we go. That's actually number one.
yeah.
We had 2 new starters, right? We got to see
Mhm.
Drake May and we got to see Spencer Rattler. So I think Rattler's going again on Thursday, and that's going to be pretty fun because we'll have Bo Nix and Rattler. So 2 rookie quarterbacks this Thursday with the Saints and the Broncos. So that's exciting. Again, yeah, bummed out that Jaden lost, but again, road game, competitive game.
Hmm.
So I don't think he can hang too much on that one. Number two, crazy, right? There'd been a let's see, I think we had 2 weeks with one team over 40, 2 weeks with 2 teams over 40. We had 3 scores over 40 this week, and the Bucks hung 50 on the Saints, who, if you
50.
remember, they hung 44 on the Cowboys.
Hmm.
Speaking of number three, Cowboys lit up by
Oh
the
my
Lions. So
God.
now they are the honorable team that has had over 40 dropped on them twice. Number four, you touched on it, the NFC North. Everyone is over 500 there. We've got 19 teams at 500 or better. And then again, the undefeated stay with the Vikings and the Chiefs due to bye week. So I just think we're starting to see that separation in teams. And then number five, my bad beat. It's just the Cowboys in general, right? Everything.
Cowboys.
The DraftKings Millie Maker, any card I played on Dak and CD. I mean, everything, every prop. They just they were awful. But again, as a Washington fan, I love betting on Dallas because when they do bad and I don't win, I'm okay with that. And if they
Yep.
win and do well and I win money on Dallas, also okay with it. So Dallas is truly my favorite team to bet on because I can make a positive out of either scenario there.
Yep. Um, two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
First, who's your pick for this week? Kansas City against the Niners. That's going to be a big game.
It is. I really think it's Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City. Now, what I do think, so you got another huge showdown, right? Vikings Lions.
Yeah.
And I think in that one,
That
I
that
think the
was the other
Lions are going to
one.
get the Vikings.
Yep. That
I
was going
think
to be
we
my
have
other
one
one.
undefeated when we're talking next week.
Okay. All right. Well, we will see. We will see. All right. Well, let's jump into um the metrics from last week. Again, if you have not signed up for SmashUp, please sign up. If you are signed up, go play. Week 7 is starting tomorrow. And so, go and get your lineups in and have your stats show up here every week as well.
If I could
And
just give the game in general a plug, this is truly a game that I think it's pretty easy to get out of the gate, but I do think there is a learning curve. You're changing the way people play fantasy football. We're now in week 6. I love it. I loved it more last week than I have the entire time. I set 3 or 4 different lineups in my leagues, and I had so much fun cannon arm doing some of the things that we've talked about.
mhm,
I again the Cowboys. I did exactly what we did. I did home field advantage, and then I stacked ride or die with Dak and CD, and I mean Rico, and then I had the tight end who now for some reason I'm drawing a blank on obviously just bombed for me. But like again, even in that, just so much fun constructing lineups with that. So I don't know if you haven't played for whatever reason, give it a shot. If you have, stick back with it because there is a learning curve. But when you start kind of crafting these things together, it's a lot of fun.
yeah, 100% agree. Obviously, I'm biased, but
Yeah, yeah. It
all
felt more
right.
authentic if I said it, since
Yes,
it is
yes.
your game.
Um, top six, top six player, or sorry, week 6 top players. Um, we're seeing a lot of, I think a lot of the usual suspects are definitely showing up. Um, what's really interesting, I mean, with the timeshare here,
Yeah.
the number 6 running back that just got cut off was Montgomery.
Okay. I was going to
And
say, I'm surprised with as well as Montgomery has played all year to not see him up here. The other person I'm surprised, Zay Flowers. Yeah, he is on a torrid pace. The touchdowns are going to come, but I mean, he is a beast.
mhm. And then certainly, like we saw a lot of people pick Houston. Houston certainly did very well. Philadelphia, I mean, that game was, I would say it's disappointing. I thought going in that the Eagles were going to be out for blood. I thought, coming
Yep.
off a bye week, the
Same.
Browns are terrible. Watson still has not thrown a touchdown.
It's crazy.
Um, but for it to be as close as it was, I thought that was disappointing for the Eagles. I mean, fantasy wise, I think people did pretty well. AJ Brown over 100 yards and a
Yep.
touchdown. Um,
Well,
like
Saquon was brutal.
Saquon, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he get a touchdown?
No, no.
No.
And
Okay.
I had Derrick Henry in, and I made the classic mistake. I had $200 left, and so I upgraded to Saquon. I should have just left it alone. It's okay to leave money on the table, everyone. Don't ever forget that.
Yep. I mean, Derrick Henry. Oh my God, he is.
So good, just so good.
I have to imagine he's the clear RB1 this year
Yeah.
so far,
Yep.
and just on its hair. Um, in terms of the top cards, um, again, this will
Mm.
be very interesting. The cards we're going to talk about this week, both are up here. Run CMC at number 5, and then Mr. Relevant at number 9. Very popular cards. Very popular cards, and we're going to do a deep dive on them later this episode. But again, I think you see a lot of the usual suspects. Again, Human Vulture, almost always towards the top. You have Speed Demon and Unstoppable Freight Train. You have your two kind of 30 or nothings up there. Um, Roll of the Dice. A lot of people played Roll of the Dice. Um,
Well, after
so
Tank won it all for someone last week, right? You kind of
you
not.
know you know who would, I don't know how many people played this on him, but you know who was eligible for Roll of the Dice this week?
No.
David Montgomery.
Wow, that's
That
insane.
he had less than half the snap. I mean, he played less than half the,
Wow.
but oh man, roll the dice on Montgomery would have been insane this week.
Yeah. You mentioned
Um,
those timeshares, while in regular sort of fantasy can be like a real headache. In Smash Up, I think there's real opportunity.
oh yeah. hmm Um, and then in terms of combos, so I started doing two things. I realized that the kind of the lineup based cards technically are kind of a combo because they're you don't pair them with a player, you pair them with with your entire team, and we
Yeah.
certainly see all five of them kind of in the top 10 if you count them. If you don't, we still see a lot of the usual suspects. Saquon. People thought Saquon was going to go off.
Yep.
I think you did as well.
I sure did. I sure did.
Saquon and Derrick Henry, they're two big ones. So um, yeah, I don't know if there's anything that other than Run CMC really a lot of people again the number five most played card and two of the top 10 combos. We're gonna do a deep dive into Run CMC.
Yeah. Neither of those hit. I think Bijan had a great game, but I don't think he hit on the run CMC.
It did not. It
Yeah.
did not. And yeah, we'll kind of take a look at those. But before we do, let's shift gears a little bit and take a look at a couple of lineups. In particular, so let's take a look at week six. Um,
Now, hey, can I ask you? I saw that campaign coming soon over there. Is what's the timeline on that? It looks pretty fun.
so it may be coming as soon as this week. Maybe as soon as this week, if not next week. So definitely keep
Nice.
an eye out for that. There's gonna be
Great.
a full-on announcement and
Can't wait.
a lot of stuff coming. But yeah, I'm very excited for that, and
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to do something special about the campaign
All right. Love it. Love
once
it. Love it.
that launches. But yeah, Rom taking home the top prize. Um, Solid points wise, but you definitely see,
Yeah.
you see a 156 here, 142. I mean, did
Yep.
did very well. Lots of card points. Probably one of the highest. Oh, I see a 95 down here.
Wow.
But
Have we seen a triple digit card score? I guess when the
we
people were
have,
stacking the defenses at the beginning of the year.
yeah, we have. I don't know if we see any this week,
Okay.
but yeah, we do. Let's take a look at Rom's lineup.
Yeah. Fields, scramble spot.
Justin Fields plus Scramble Spikes
Yep.
did very well. Did not hit on Bijan. So when we
Nope.
talk, like there was a potential 30 points left on the table. So Rom could have gotten into triple digits if
Yep.
if one of these hit.
Look at that
Um,
roll of the dice.
Roll the dice. Yep, on Montgomery. 40 points.
Beautiful.
40 points for $1,500. That's
That's some ROI right there.
yeah. This combo, I don't know how many other people played it, but that was a good one. And then let's see. Oh, and then two on Houston. So not a huge number of points, but 15 for winning and then
Strong.
sacks in the
Yep.
city. So the big card play here was definitely roll the dice on
Absolutely.
Montgomery and got him into first place.
Like you said, he dropped 226. It looked like he might have had a 20-point lead and could have had an additional 30 points.
And I mean, 1 point for Jake Ferguson. I mean,
Yeah.
Ferguson was not cheap either. Ferguson
Yep.
was a pretty, highly played tight end.
Yeah, there's the
So,
name I couldn't think of earlier, the Dallas tight end. Yep, he was, and I had Aubrey. Yep, I had them all. I had them all.
hmm And then the other team I kind of wanted to take a look at, Geezer here at number eight. Um, Look at this play. Drake May with Goldfish Memory.
That's fun.
I mean, May did decent, but he also had, was it two interceptions and a fumble?
Yeah,
So three turnovers here, turning, Goldfish Memory into 30 points. That's a
that's
good
nice.
play.
That's nice.
Um, yeah, I mean, when you're almost at, a dollar per, was it $100 per 100 points. Like that's pretty good. That puts you on pace for like 120 points
Yeah, that's
for the whole
great.
thing. So he kept with the no tight end strategy. I know that's
Yep.
popular.
Yep.
Did the Saquon, Derrick Henry, and uh, big play on the Houston defense here with takeaway Carr for kind of 32 points. Houston had themselves a game.
Yeah, they sure did.
I guess on the opposite, this is actually interesting. What do you think about this?
And he had
So,
hellacious halfbacks on there too.
yeah.
It just didn't do much with Saquon and Kamara.
So I really like what he did with cause he basically picked Houston Patriots and was like, I'm gonna bet that there's
Yep.
just gonna be a ton of turnovers, and I'm gonna capitalize with takeaway Carr on
Yep.
Houston, and I'm gonna play goldfish memory on the quarterback. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good
That's
bet.
great correlation. We
Yeah.
hadn't seen that. And then again, just smart. You get rid of your tight end. They did play great receivers with Chase and London, but then I mean with the halfback, that's just I don't know. That's a good lineup. That's very
Yeah.
creative. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really great lineup there. So shout out to Geezer for yeah, placing eighth overall here. Um, all right. So we talked a little bit about, these two very, very popular cards. And let's talk a bit more about them. I know certainly with your kind of, bad beats of the week, I would say these are probably the two cards in our lineup that I think are probably closest to kind of your traditional prop bets, type of thing. You need two things to happen here, right? For quarterbacks, 250 passing, 20 rushing, 30 or nothing, 4,000. This is basically priced the same as the Afterlife Express trio, right? The
Yep.
Speed Demon, Hail Mary, Freight Train. All of them are 4,000. All of them are 30 or nothing. For those three, though, you only need one thing to happen. Here, you need two things to happen, um, and so forth. Run CMC is another one of those 30 or nothing, but is significantly cheaper. And you're looking at 80 rushing yards, 40 receiving yards on a running back. I mean, I guess you could play it on a receiver, but
Yeah.
probably probably not great. To be honest, I am surprised how popular these are. I did not think, especially Run CMC, maybe it's because it's cheap and
I
people
was gonna
think,
say it's that price tag. It's
and
2,500 for the allure of 30 points is pretty sweet.
yeah, I would.
It doesn't hit very much, does it?
It doesn't hit very much. So,
Yeah.
so let's take a look. Week one, it didn't hit at all. Week five, it didn't hit at all. So, 2 of your 6 weeks, you're not hitting at all.
Yeah.
I will say the first couple of weeks, Kamara hit twice in week two and three, Chuba in week three, Aaron Jones in three and four, and then Achane and Swift. Um, Surprisingly, the main card that everyone plays Run CMC on is Saquon. Everyone plays it as Saquon, and Saquon has not hit all season.
Yeah. That's
So
coming. You got to play it this week. Week 7. I'm
yeah,
playing it now. Thanks, Haibo.
yep, yep. And then this week, I mean, I don't know ahead of time if I would, Tucker and Davis were both kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like,
Yeah, the injury to Cook kind of propelled Davis, but he also had like an end of half crazy 50-yard Allen scramble. I mean, he had some interesting ways that he got there, but they did use him. I mean, he was featured for a rookie running back from Kentucky.
yeah. So was Brees. That Monday night game, like both running backs basically went off. But overall, I would say I mean, there's a reason it's priced lower. It doesn't hit as often, and sometimes it's random. It's hard to
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah, Sean
Um,
Tucker doesn't do that if it's not a blowout.
right,
Well, I mean, it wasn't a blowout, but they scored 51 points. So, I mean,
right. Um, Now on the flip side, Mr. Relevant also super popular. it doesn't hit that often either, but it hits a couple times every week. What I think is interesting here, though, is that it's a lot more predictable. Like the folks that you think are going to hit on this card do tend up hitting. Like Lamar Jackson is probably your classic, like, who's going to pass for 250 plus rush for 20? Lamar Jackson hit 3 of the 6 weeks.
Wow.
Um, Hertz was twice here. Jane Daniels twice.
I'm going to be
Um,
honest. I'm surprised because and again, Zay's been incredible. Andrews has been down. And there's such a run heavy team. I'm surprised Jackson has hit 3 times, to be very honest.
mhm. I mean, with his rushing, like it's really like, do you think he's going to hit 250 passing?
100%. Like he's going to run for 20 yards, right? Like that's not an issue.
Right.
It's is he going to pass? Yep. Field same. He doesn't throw for over 250 very much.
No, I mean, he was only on here once, so
Yeah.
he's only thrown for, I guess, over 250, I guess, one week so far.
Yeah. And I'll bet
Um,
Stroud is very similar that he doesn't run for over 20 very often. He's going to
yeah.
throw it, but yeah.
Yeah, he's only up here once. He's only up
Flacco.
here once.
Oh,
Um,
Flacco.
yeah, the one Flacco week, the one Daniel Jones week. Um, and
I
yeah.
swear I played Jordan Love once and he did it, but maybe not. Like maybe week 1, I thought Jordan Love did it because I tried to play Mr. Relevant, but maybe I'm misremembering.
No. Um, the other one who's on here a couple times is Baker.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield
I think
is
he's a good play this week for it too.
mhm.
He's
I
the
guess
Monday
for
night game. And I mean, look, the Ravens, you think of the Ravens and you're like defense, 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 but they've been in some shootouts, some nice, I mean, the Bengals game with them, the Commanders game. Like I like Mayfield if I'm playing this card.
or Lamar. I mean, both
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if that game's going to be a shootout, like Tampa Bay's going to put up points, so they're going to have to put up offense. So I think it's an interesting play. Generally speaking, a lot more predictable, I would say,
Mhm.
than kind of Run CMC, which is
Yeah.
just Run CMC. Just it's cheap. I think people like taking the shot. Who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe Saquon. Maybe this is
Listen,
the week.
listen. So first, they're playing the Eagles, right? I mean, I'm sorry, they're playing the Giants, right? So
hmm
there's going to be a little bit of that. They're gonna coming off a bad game, going at home. They're away in New York, right? I don't know. This probably is a Saquon week,
All
or it's
right.
going to just be another tempting 2,500 down the drain.
I know. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think it's a good bet. Saquon for Run CMC. Who do you have for Mr. Relevant this week?
So I think I think you're right. Jackson, Mayfield, no doubt about it. I think either of those are very strong plays. I think it's funny that correlated but uncorrelated, they've done it twice together there in week 1 and week 6. Two things. I think Knicks against the Saints on Thursday night. And same, I didn't think about Rattler, but I think either of those guys could easily do this. And then I just think Jaden Daniels is great, and I think against the Panthers, the issue I have is the Panthers are not very good, and he just may not have to pass enough. So I'd probably my top 4: Jackson, Mayfield, and then again game correlations, either quarterback in that game, and then either quarterback Knicks or Rattler in the Saints Bucks.
All
I mean
right.
Broncos Saints.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see. We'll see next week. We'll put it on the ledger and yeah,
Oh, yeah.
see what
Don't put my
happens.
Eagles get right game on there and my Cowboys. Yeah, I got to be better next week. This week's got to be better.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Owen. Yeah, and thanks so much to all of you for listening. And like I said, games open on Wednesday, so go in, set your lineups, and come back and listen to us again next week.
Haibo,
Uh,
like you said, plural lineups. You got 3 to 4
Lineups.
shots at that weekly, getting some leagues. There's a lot of stuff. It's a great game. Loving it.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks everyone, and we will see you next week.
Good luck. See you guys.
All right. Bye.